KP classes dedicated to excellence.
Hi, if you have clicked on this video, then definitely you're a design enthusiast, or you're looking for more information about how to prepare for the design courses. Or maybe you are a parent and you are looking for information for your kids. So let's dive deep into the field of design and see what we have in store for you. So let's get started. First of all, this particular video is specifically for students who are wanting to get information about the undergraduate design courses. Yes, design courses are divided into undergraduates and postgraduate. Okay, so undergraduate is, we are targeting students who are in class 10th, 11th and 12th, or you have cleared your class 12 and you are taking a drop year and you are wanting to get into the design field. So let's understand one thing. If you are wanting to go into the design field, then definitely you are targeting few of the prestigious colleges in design. They are NIDs, NIFT and the IITs. And definitely there are other colleges also which offer design courses and are equally good. So we'll talk about all of those things and we will come up with certain information about what KP Design Studio is going to offer you. So let's look at this particular information. So if you haven't checked our website, which is KP Classes Exam Prep, so please do check it out. The website detail is given over here, and also download our app, KP Classes Design Prep app. That will be really beneficial for you. And till now, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please hit the subscribe button so that you keep getting information about what is going on in the design field. Every week, we come up with appropriate live sessions for the students to learn, to experiment, to explore about this particular design field. We try to make this whole process fun and interesting for all of you so that you don't take it as a burden and you look forward for our videos so that you can learn from it. So let's join the dots. Now, what do we mean by joining the dots? So design is a very, very vast field. And if you are somebody who's in class 10, who's in 11th or 12th, so you must be wondering, what is design all about? Is it only about drawing? Is it about creativity? Is it about creating beautiful garments or graphics or characters or products? So let's understand. Design has a very important part in our life. Whatever you see around you, everything is designed. Of course, there is tech, there is other aspects also. But whenever we look at something tangible, it has been designed to solve a particular problem. For example, if I'm looking at this particular product, which is a pouch. Okay, so you must have seen pouches, right? Your parents must be using it. You are using a particular pouch to take your stationery in the schools, but this particular product has a specific need. So as per the need of a particular person and the whatever the specification is, it has been designed keeping in mind certain things, right? So design, first of all, you have to understand it is a problem solving process, right? And of course, once the problem is solved, once the necessity is met, then you get into the creativity part in it. You can be very creative with this particular pouch. So instead of having it in plain black, why can't we have some interesting graphic on it or an interesting color, or maybe you add a handle to it, right? So there are so many things that could be done, but you have to move in a particular direction. You have to collect a lot of dots and then join it. And joining the dots means coming up with a concrete solution. The solution could be in terms of a product, tangible product. The solution could be in terms of a intangible product like a website, an app or a character that you see on screen, right? So there are so many aspects of design that you must be thinking about at this particular point of time, right? So whatever your ideas are, whatever you want to do later on in this particular field, write it down. Explore as much as you can, read about it, talk to people, talk to your faculties, and understand what is going to happen in this particular field later on. So, joining the dots, this particular process is extremely important. Always remember, you cannot jump into a conclusion directly. So, collecting ideas, collecting facts, collecting people's opinion, no, in terms of what they feel about a certain topic. Like, for example, if you have to design a table, right? So you have to collect certain information, you have to gather certain information. For example, who's going to use it, where that particular table needs to be placed. Is it a reception table? Is it a study table? Is it a doctor's table? So you collect so much of information and then you come up with a final product, also understanding the needs and wants of a specific audience to whom you're catering. So that is about connecting dots. Okay, you collect those dots and later on you connect them to get to a specific solution. So always keep in mind, never jump into a conclusion and never have that particular doubt in your mind that, oh, how do I start designing something. Remember, there is an approach to design, there is an approach to creativity, and that is exactly what we are going to do. We not only prepare you just for an entrance exam, but we also prepare you for life once you get into a design college. What sort of mindset you should be having from day one? That is what we are working on. And it is our quest that each and every student who is coming to us or who is interacting with us or who is availing the courses from us should benefit and should take it forward from here, whatever they are learning over here, whatever they are learning from the interaction with various experts from the field, they should take it further in their life and make use of it. So, till now, you must have got a little bit of an idea or an overview of what design approach is all about, right? Definitely, once you interact with us or come in contact or, take avail certain courses, you will get more information about it. And again, design approach is a practice that you need to perfect with time, right? It's not a very sure shot. It's not just a very sure short streamlined process. Every person will have a different approach. Every individual, every design aspiring student are different. So we work according to the best of their ability. It is extremely important that we try and understand that not every student is similar, but at the same time, everyone is creative in their own way. And it's very important to harness their energies and their creativities and work according to their abilities. So that's exactly what we are going to do, and that's why we keep saying that we have a very personal touch when it comes to students. Because see, it's not science, it's not maths, where you know that 2 plus 2 is 4, right? So if you say that 2 plus 2 is a mango, then I have to agree to it and I have to know what is your thought process behind it, right? So it's about individuality, it's about developing your style and your individuality. Now, let's see what we are going to offer and what these design courses or design examination are all about. So, design exam covered for UG program. So, again, undergraduate program. We are only concentrating right now on the undergraduates. So, there are these 4 major exams that we cover. So any student who's wanting to get into the design field, they have to be acquainted with these four names. So it's NID, National Institute of Design, NIFT, National Institute of Fashion Technology, UCEED, again, UCEED is an examination which is conducted by IIT Bombay, and it is a score that is required to get into various IITs that are offering undergraduate course, and also there are 20 plus universities that offer design courses and accept UCEED score. Then we have ODS. ODS is Other Design School. So a lot of you must be wanting to prepare or wanting to go to the best college. Now, apart from these major examinations, there are other design colleges also which are equally good. You might wanting to go to some college which is abroad, right? So we have worked on certain colleges which are really give top class education, and students are always looking forward to going to these colleges. So we prepare for them as well. So this whole package, this whole thing comes as a package for all of you. And the more, the merrier. Of course, you are here to learn, and we don't want you to lag in any particular way. So let's understand what is the examination criteria of NID. So we have a creative aptitude, we have a general aptitude, English, current affairs, GK, reasoning. And I have written over here phase 2. What is phase 2? So we'll again understand it in our next slide. So all the design entrance examination, no matter which entrance exam you are targeting, they conduct their examination in two phases, phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 is the written examination. After you appear for the phase 1 and the results are out, a lot of students are skimmed from that particular examination and they go to the next level. Now, this first phase or phase 1 is extremely important, because if you don't perform well, you don't get to go to the next level, which is phase 2. And it's highly competitive, and remember, in most of the colleges, the ratio of student and seat is 1:3. So basically, if there are 300 seats in NID for undergraduate, so in the second phase, 900 students are going out of a number of students that have appeared for that particular examination. So mostly the ratio is 1:3. So they select 3 times the number of seats available in a particular course, and those students are lucky enough to appear for the phase 2 examination. And in fact, I should not say lucky enough, because it's their hard work, and they have practiced well, and they have shown all their confidence and creativity in the question paper, and that's why they got through. So these are the content of NID. So you have creative ability, general aptitude, English, current affairs, GK, reasoning in the first phase. Then let's talk about NIFT. So again, this particular thing is repeated. You do have creative aptitude, which is extremely important, general aptitude, English, current affairs, GK, reasoning, and phase 2. Same goes for UCEED and same goes for ODS. Now you must be wondering that why the content is same. Yes, the content is almost similar for most of the entrance exams. There may be few additions and subtractions, but the weightage is very different. And that's why we always advise to our students that do read the prospectus. So whichever college you are applying to, whichever examination you are applying to, you have to go through the prospectus thoroughly. Okay, and always mark the points, mark the weightage, and what are the major criteria, because there are differences in criteria, and that is exactly what we'll see in the next slide. So design entrance exam phases, as I already told you, we have phase 1 and we have phase 2. Now at this particular point of time, you must be wondering that how do we prepare for phase 1 and phase 2? It sounds a lot. So don't worry, we have courses ready for you, and I'll tell you step by step how to go about gathering information about it. And we do cover both the phases, okay, phase 1 and phase 2. So let's see, in NID, the phase, I'm talking about phase 1, okay, which is over here, the information is about phase 1, about 3 major examinations. So NID, the duration of examination, written examination is 3 hours. The weightage of that particular examination is 30%, okay. And out of this, GAT, which is General Aptitude Test, the questions for GAT are of 30 marks. So you might get 20 questions, you might get 30 questions, and accordingly, the marks will be distributed. The creative part is of 70 marks. So 70 plus 30, 100 marks, 3 hours, and the whole weightage of this particular examination is 30%. Now, let's talk about NIFT. NIFT's examination is for 5 hours, okay, and it is divided into 2 parts. Again, we have GAT, which is of 100 marks, okay. Now, please remember that in NIFT, the GAT examination is computer based, okay. So you have to prepare yourself in terms of, computer based test. You have to prepare your mind. A lot of students, they act very lost when they see computer based test. So GAT is of 100 marks and the weightage is 30%. Okay, that means if you are getting 70 out of 100 in GAT, in NIFT examination, then only 30% of it, which is 21, will be considered as your marks. Then you have creative aptitude, okay, out of these 5 hours, 2 hours is general aptitude, 3 hours is creative aptitude. Again, creative aptitude is of 100 marks and the weightage is 50%, okay. So 50 plus 30 becomes 80. That means the first phase is, the whole weightage is 80%. That means you have to prepare really well to, cover 80% of this particular examination as compared to NID. NID, the first phase is of 30%, but you have to put in equal effort in both, although the weightage are different. So here the creative part is of 100 marks and it has 50% weightage. That means if you are getting again 70 out of 100, then only 35 will be considered your marks. So 35 plus 21 that you got, that will be your marks out of 80. Okay. So this is about NIFT first phase. Now let's look at UCEED first phase. Again, one more thing I have to add over here. NIFT GAT has a negative marking of 0.25. That means on every wrong answer, 0.25 from your total marks will be deducted. Whereas in NID, we don't have any negative marking. Now in UCEED, again the duration is 3 hours. It's a score. Remember, UCEED is a score. We have part A, which is the aptitude, which is of 200 marks. Again, it is very vast, and out of all of these 3 examinations, UCEED gives the most weightage to your aptitude. So we have taken great care in preparing students for the aptitude part of UCEED, which is extremely niche, which is extremely advanced, and we are happy that we are able to help our students in cracking UCEED examination. So it is 200 marks with negative marking. Duration is 2 hours. Again, it's a computer-based test, and once you clear the part A, then only your part B will be evaluated. So you have to be very particular. You have to see whether you are able to reach the cutoff or not. So I'll give you a little idea. Out of 200, so every year the cutoff may vary from 80, 85, 89. something in this particular range. So after the examination is conducted, IITs, they release cutoff marks, say after 2 weeks or so. So you will get to know whether you're getting through or not, whether your part B will be evaluated or not. Because the part B, the creative part, is extremely important for you to get a good score. Okay, a lot of students, this is a game changer for a lot of students, because if you are scoring well in part B, which is the creative part, which is completely subjective, then you have more chances of getting a good rank. So part B is just for 100 marks. And please remember that the certain criteria of part B had changed this year. They had introduced some new elements in the examination. And in fact, every year there are certain changes in this particular curriculum. So please remember, as I told you earlier, you have to wait for the new prospectus to be released. All of this information is based on the latest information of these examinations. And they are subjected to changes. So again, be prepared for some minor changes, right? So here is part B, 100 marks, no negative marking, 2 subjective questions, 1 hour duration. Now, once you get through the first phase, you go on to the second phase if you are selected, and we do prepare our students for the second phase of examination. So NID, second phase, is known as mains. The first phase was known as prelims in NID. So don't get confused when you come across these words in the prospectus or on the NID website. So again, now it has 70% weightage. The duration is 3 hours. Again, it may vary, this duration may vary. So there are 3 things which are majorly important, and we always focus on these major 3 things, which is portfolio development, giving training to the students for personal interview. Now remember that personal interviews are something that NID may or may not conduct. Okay, NIFT doesn't conduct any personal interview. UCEED, again, the colleges that you apply through UCEED scores may conduct a personal interview. So some things, preparing all the students to face our interview panelist is a major content that we always work on, no matter which college you are appearing for. Okay, so portfolio, personal interview, and studio test, where you have to create certain things on the spot. And you don't really know what sort of material you will be getting and what sort of topics you will be getting. But we cover all those particular topics, keeping in mind what was asked in the past. Next is NIFT. NIFT phase 2 is known as situation test. The weightage is 20%. Remember, we already covered 80% over here, so 20% remaining over here. Duration is 2 hours. Comparatively simple because they don't have interviews, they don't have portfolio. NIFT never asked for a portfolio. You just have to create a 3D model in the given amount of time and with the material that the college has provided you. You don't have to carry anything for the studio test in any of the examination. Now, let's look at UCEED. So, each college has a different studio test rule. Keep this in mind. UCEED is just a score. Now, if you get a good score, then probably you will be applying for IIT Bombay, IIT Guwahati, IIT Hyderabad, Triple IIT Jabalpur, Srishti, UID, so many colleges. Now, each and every college will have a slight different criteria, and again, you have to go through the prospectus really well. Okay, so definitely we keep in mind the portfolio development, the personal interview preparation, and the 3D model making or the studio test. So this is covered for the second phase of examination, which is again equally important for all the students. Now, let's talk about one very important thing. How important is drawing? So we get a lot of queries, we get to interact with a lot of students. So some of them say, oh, we are excellent in drawing. Some of them say we don't know how to draw. So if you don't know how to draw, we definitely got your back. And if you're somebody who's excellent in drawing, great, we'll take you to the next level. We will tell you how to communicate using your drawing. It's not just looking at something and sketching it out and making beautiful sceneries and beautiful portraits, but what's the end use of it? How you are going to use your ability to create an amazing design career and to crack these examinations. That is what you will be doing. So let's read this particular question. Okay. Imagine a scenario where all the electronic devices suddenly cease to exist. No smartphones, no laptops or TVs. Design a solution that fills the gap left by this absence, considering how people would communicate, entertain themselves, and access information in this technology-free world. Your solution should be innovative, user-friendly, and adaptable to different environment and needs. Now just imagine no cell phones, no Instagram, no reels, nothing. How do we survive? Obviously, we don't have internet also, laptops, TVs, everything gone. Okay, I mean, if we talk about the Gen Zs, then definitely no smartphone, no internet, no Instagram is a nightmare for them. But imagine the boomer generation. They were at least, they got TV in their life. So now the TV is also gone. So entire generation, entire 2, 3 generation, including the boomers, millennials and Gen Zs, all are in a soup right now. What do we do? How do we entertain ourselves? How do we order food? How do we navigate to different places? Right? How do we communicate with our friends? How do I send reels? How do I stay relevant? There's so many questions that must be coming in your mind. That's exactly what is the whole idea of these kind of questions. So please remember that this particular type of question is called divergent thought process or divergent questions. This triggers certain part of your brain and wants you to come out of your comfort zone of your thought process and think in a bizarre manner, and of course giving solutions to certain problems. Okay, so I want all of you to sit back and think in terms of what solution you can give for yourself, for your elder generation, for people who can't stay without radio, TV, etc. Right? So think about it and come up with certain fun solutions. I'm sure once you start thinking or brainstorming on this particular despotic situation, you will be innovative enough to come up with a lot of ideas. And don't forget to go completely crazy with your ideas. Nobody is judging you, right? So it is important that you open up. Think in different direction. Try to think of creating communities. Think of giving solutions to this particular problem. Okay, now this particular question challenges a candidate to think critically about the role of technology in society and to come up with creative alternatives that address the same needs and function in a different manner, right? So of course technology has taken over our lives and it's very, very difficult to think beyond it. And definitely the technology is not going away in the coming future. But we have to learn to live without these things. They can't be necessity. They can't be something that is absolute necessity for our lives. Right? So think beyond that. Think of how to interact. Think of how to create certain intrapersonal activities so that people are engaged, people can share information. Now remember, there was a time when there was no navigation gadgets, there was no internet, there was no fast communication. But still, there were people who were going on and conquering the world. Imagine what Alexander did, or imagine how Babur, came to India and thought of ruling this particular country. right? Think about Vasco da Gama, right? How they did certain things at that point of time. So go a little bit into the past and understand how things happen with absence of technology. Okay, so it also encourages the students to consider user experience and particularly in terms of design. You have to think in terms of design. Come up with easy solutions. Okay, come up with a solution like, creating a game, creating an interacting game between kids or between the kids and the family members. Right. So I'm sure a lot of you could come up with a lot of different solutions which are definitely fun. Now, this brings us to a major important question, which is introduction to our course content. So if you open our website, which is kpclasses.in, you can click on the option of NID, NIFT, UCEED, okay, and then you will be navigated to a page where different courses are given. Now over here, I'm only focusing on the design course for the undergraduates, okay. So design course for undergraduates. Now, what are we offering? So we have to keep in mind that design is a very dynamic field and it is an interdisciplinary field. And every year the criteria changes. Okay, remember that we are preparing you for the future. The examiners are also picking up students who have a futuristic way of thinking. And whatever was done, said and done in the past is in the past. So every year we have to think of a new strategy, okay, or new ways of learning. You cannot do the old ways of learning that everybody has been doing in the past. Also, the first thing that you need to know is to unlearn. Now, this is a very important factor for any student who is coming into design. You have to unlearn a lot of things. The old ways of learning, the old things that were taught to you, right? So unlearning is something very important, and that's the approach that we always have. So you unlearn, you learn new things, you experiment and you explore. Right? And as I told you in the beginning of this particular session, that every student, every individual is different. So we work on a very individual level. Our batch sizes are that's why very small. We don't believe in having huge batches and just giving a lecture and going away. It has to be interactive where a faculty should know the thought process of each and every student. That's an important factor. So of course, if we are targeting NID, NIFT and UC, what we are offering is definitely faculties from these particular colleges. Faculties from the design field will be teaching you who are some of the best educators in the country. We do have live online and physical classes. If you want to opt for physical class, or if you're somebody who's not staying in this particular area and you belong to some other place, then definitely we have the online classes for you or the live classes for you. Now, we also provide recorded backup lecture. Each and every class of ours is recorded. Okay, so anybody who's missing out on the class or who wants to go revisit and revise what was taught in the class, they can always have the access to our recorded lecture through our app. Once again, if you haven't downloaded our app, please download it now, which is KP Classes Exam Prep app. Okay, so once you enroll with us, you will be getting the full access to the app and full access to our recorded video and course content. Till then, you can always explore the app where we have different courses and course material, and some of the material is free for our students. Then we have comprehensive study material. Study material, every year it's worked on, right? It is important that you have hard copies of study material, not only the creative part, but also the aptitude part. Online test series, topic-wise test, mock test and PYQs. So if you haven't checked the PYQs available on our website, do it right now. They are free for everybody to download. Apart from that, we provide mock tests, we provide weekly tests to the students. So from day one, from the first week onwards, every student is acquainted with the type of questions that might be asked in the examination. And it's always a good idea to have different approach and to have maximum work done in terms of weekly test and mock test. Then expert drawing and design classes. So this is part of our live online classes and the physical classes, where the most common problem which students have is how do we draw? What do we draw? Okay, how do we give a particular solution through our drawing? How do we communicate through our drawings? This is what is addressed in the drawing and design classes. Not only just the drawing, but also what your thought process or your approach should be for a particular problem that has been given to you. Conceptual, so the GAT part, as we know, is equally important. So we have quantitative analysis and logical reasoning classes, which are taken by different faculties from this particular field. NIFT, NID, UCEED, phase 1 and phase 2 classes are also covered. So you don't have to worry about what happens in phase 2, because we have your back and we will be covering that. And one of the most important thing that we are offering is weekly GK and current affair classes. So if you check the other videos of KP classes or KP design, you will find that we have n number of videos on YouTube even for current affairs in GK. Apart from what is there on the YouTube, we are providing customized classes, in terms of current affairs, because that is something that you have to be aware of. Right? GK is very important, and we don't know what exactly will be asked in GK. Like this year in NIFT, in the GK part or the aptitude part, most of the questions were based on the Constitution of India. Right? So there are various topics in GK and current affairs that needs to be covered, because you don't really know what if the criteria changes and which particular topic is going to come in the examination. So it's always good to be prepared about all the topics. So again, you will find live physical classes, recorded lectures, test series, study material, which is all given on your app and is always available to you. Now here we are using the technology, right? So we do have everything on our app in form of soft copies, and definitely the hard copies will be provided to all the students. Now let's talk about the application date. So every year the application dates they start somewhere near October. So since October, the exam form filling and the registration dates will start coming out. All the students will be notified by us. So you don't have to worry. You're not missing out on any examination, because we will keep notifying you until and unless you fill up the form and share your application numbers with us. Till then, we will be after you and, checking out whether you are filling up the forms properly or not, because form filling is also little tricky in design. You might have to give SOPs, which is statement of purpose, okay, or there might be some questions which are subjective. So a lot of students who are new in this particular field, and obviously you're in class 11 and 12, so you won't know how to write those SOPs or answer those questions. So we will be helping you out with that as well. Personal guidance and counseling is done regarding the registration process. So you don't have to worry, the registration process is taken care of. Okay. The only thing you have to worry about is working on your assignments and being creative. So at the end, once again, I'll tell you to go through our website completely. Okay. Explore our website and also download our KP classes exam prep. And if you still have some queries, you can always give us a call on the numbers given in this particular video and talk to the counselors and get more information about the courses that you are seeking to. Okay, thank you.